Okay, so this is going to go over the benefits of referencing characters and props and stuff like that. So let's say that I'm in class and I have a short film that I'm working on, and I have a character that I have picked out, and I don't have any kind of clothing picked out for it yet. I haven't built any clothing. The character's not textured. There's a bunch of things that still need to be done to the character, but I need to get animating. Well, the benefit of having a reference character is that what you do is you have a master file that you work with. So for instance, I'm going to create a sphere as my character, and that's really all I have done to it. And what I want to do first is I want to make sure that the name is correct. Basically, naming your character in the master file and not changing it is going to help you over time. References remember names. If you change names, it will not recognize it for any other child. So basically what this is you have a master file that you do all your work in, and you take that master file and you import it, or you reference it into all your other shots. Now, you keep working on your other shots. Let's say you have 10 shots that you're maintaining, and now you're ready to go back and put clothing in. So you go to your master file and you add clothing to it, and it basically updates all your other 10 shots with the clothing. So let's see how that works real quick. So let's say this is my character, and I don't have time to do anything, but I do want to make sure that the name is there. So I'm going to call this ball underscore GEO for geometry. The next thing I'm going to do is just save this out. So file, save scene as, and for the purposes of, well, we'll just stick it right here, that's fine. I'll call this ball, and I will call it underscore ball master. MB doesn't really make a difference. Choose whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm just going to stick with MA. So I save it out. Now I'm going to do a new scene. So there's nothing there, and I'm going to reference that in. So I go to File, I got to create reference option box, and I get this little window here. What I want to do is, most of the settings here are going to be pretty simple. This is my 2010. The interface for my 2011 and 12 look a little bit different, but it's still kind of the same thing. So under name clash options, you're going to say use namespaces. Okay, you want to make sure that that is checked on. You also want to resolve all nodes with this string. In this case, I'm calling it ball. You can go with 3 or 4 letters. If you start going more than that, this is basically the prefix of your character in the outliner, and I will show you that in a minute. So the longer this is, the less you're going to be able to see what the name of the actual object you have selected is. So you know what, I will just do something really ridiculous just to show you, to prove my point, and then I'll do one properly. So I just did this really long name of a bunch of A's. You know, you can call it whatever you want, but let's just say that's the name of I wanted to use my namespace, and I'll say reference, and I will go to, where is it? This is boat test. That's not what I want. I want ball master. So I reference that in. So there's my ball. Everything's nice and neat. Now if I go into the I can't get to that over here. Well, maybe I can do it here. So I will go to here. You know what? I'll go Window, Outliner, and I'll just bring the outliner in. So here's my reference object. I know it's a reference object because it has this little blue ball within a square. That means it's referenced. If it's just a normal object, like let's say a sphere, so I'll create a sphere real quick, polygon sphere. It has the same symbol here, but you don't see the little ball up here. So that's how you tell if something is referenced or not. But as you can see, the name ball is like, wait, you know, I have to kind of really open this up to get the ball underscore geo, because this is my prefix. So if we keep it down to 3 letters, you're going to be better off, because because you'll know exactly what it is. Come up with a 3-letter name for your object, and then it'll populate that properly. But stay consistent. Try to stay with 3 letters, 4 letters, something like that. So I don't need this right now. Now, can I just delete it? I'm going to go ahead and select it and say delete. No, I can't. You can't delete a referenced object. What you can do is go to File, Reference Editor, that pulls up this box, and there's my reference. So this gives you a list of all your references. Okay, and the good thing about that is that if you do not want, here, let me get rid of this ball because I don't need it. If you don't need to show, let's say you have like 10 objects in here and you don't want to have certain things turned on, you just unclick it and it goes away. It's still loaded, but it's not. You don't need to worry about it. I mean, you can say Control H to hide it or something like that if you want to, but this basically unloads it. The information for this is still here, but it just basically unloads it until you need it again. So I'm going to check it. There it is. But I don't really want this ball. Okay, we're going to bring in a different one with a proper name. So I'm going to right click and I go to File. Reference. Remove reference. And then it'll ask you, do you really want to do this? I say yes. I remove it. And so now I have no references here. So I'm going to close this up. And as you can see, my outliner is clean again. So I will now go to File, Create Reference, Create Reference option box, and go down to Name Clash Options. This is checked. I definitely do not want this name, so I will delete that, and I will go with something more simple, like basically what it is. I mean, I'll go ball, B-A-L, something like that, and I'm gonna stick with 3 letters because for me that is usually the best way to go. And I will reference that in the ball master reference. Okay, so now what you see is BAL : ball _ geo, which is very clean and exactly what I want. I know exactly what this is. It has a prefix to it, and I know that it's a reference. So now what I want to do is I'm going to save this out as shot 1. Save scene as. And you can organize your shots however you want to. For the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to keep everything kind of in the same area. So I'm going to call this shot _01. Okay. Save that. Okay, so I'm going to go to in this specific shot, I'm actually going to add a little bit of animation. So I'm going to hit the S key to save a key on frame 1. And then I'm going to go like this frame 22 or something like that. I'm going to move it here to 12 and give it a breakdown. So now I just have this little arcing motion. Okay, cool. And I'll save that again. Save. Just to kind of give it some kind of motion or something. Now, we're going to go ahead and open the ball master because now I'm ready to add some color to the ball. So I'm in my ball master, and I want to, let's say, material attributes, assign new material, and I'm going to give it a Lambert. Let's move this out of the way, and I want to change the color of the ball. So that brings up the color chooser, and I'm just going to pick a red. Accept. Okay, but now I really don't. Let's see here. Can I minimize this? Here, I'll do this. There we go. That's a little bit better. So now I'm going to take this out of here because I don't really need it right now. I want to kind of give this character a little bit of shape. So I'm going to pick this. Let's say this is what I wanted to do to it. I wanted to give it a little bit of a nose, and I wanted to rough in some eye sockets, whatever, and I don't know, maybe throw the mouth in just a tad. Oop. Okay, so very simplistic, nothing big, but you can definitely see that the ball has now changed. It's not really a ball, it kind of has a semi-face, you know, whatever. There's some changes to it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save out my master file because I'm really happy with the way this looks. Control S. Okay. Okay, so now when I go to File, Open Scene, and I pick shot 1, let's say I had, tons of shots, but in this case, shot 1, open it up, it has now updated my shot with the red ball and the changes that I've made to the face. Now, let's show you something else here. So that makes it really efficient. So if you've got tons of shots and you just want to update something, do it once, update it once, and let it populate the rest of your shots. That's basically the overall goal of this. Now let me show you something else here. So I'm going to go back to my master file. I'm going to save that. I really don't like the name of this, so I'm going to change the name of this to Sphere. S-P-H-E-R-E _G-O. I'm going to hit enter. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and save this out. And don't do this. I'm basically showing you how this is going to error out on you. Basically, if you change the name of a reference in the master file, if you change the name of anything in your master file, and you have something referenced already, it may cause your reference not to work, because a reference looks for names. Okay? And if it doesn't see that name, it can't identify it. So when you first make your master file, make sure that all your names are set. Okay? And I think you'll be in good shape. So now if I go to Open Scene and I go to Ball Master, or excuse me, Shot 1, my guess is it's going to error out. It's not going to see the ball. Oh, I'm wrong. Completely wrong. And it did update it. That's kind of funny. Anyways, there are issues. I'm kind of actually glad that worked. But on a note of, when you have constraints and stuff like that, when you start getting into stuff like that, I know it does break. So I apologize. I feel kind of weird about that. But this should have broke. It shouldn't recognize it, but I guess it did. So no big deal. Do not keep it as a rule though, because it can get you into trouble later on. There are instances where it will break and it will not work. So as a rule of thumb, lock down your naming in your master file. And that basically sums up referencing.